Welcome back, everybody. So we are here today with Tanya Hilts, coming to us from Belleville, and which is in Ontario, Canada. And as we continue with our series of Accountant Showcase, bringing insight into what folks like Tanya do. Tanya, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule today and speaking with us. Please tell us about yourself.
Oh, thank you for having me, Chris. So myself, I am a certified professional bookkeeper, and I do more advisory work though myself. I do have a team, so we do have 50 or so bookkeeping clients. I have a team that does that, but again, through technology, through COVID, through all of that, I've moved more into an advisory role, and I found that I really enjoy that a lot better because I can make a bigger difference with clients, basically. So I really found my way of advisory through COVID, helping clients pivot. And it's not just about cash flow forecasting, and it's not just about entering those numbers. It's about knowing what those numbers mean and thinking outside of the box as to how clients can, potentially pivot. We've got some clients that, did a 360 and completely changed their business model because just COVID would not work with their current business model with all the shutdowns and lockdowns and whatnot we've had. So, get that outside of the box thinking and really working and being more of a partner with your client. That's really truly what it means these days, is being more of a partner with your client.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's what we do here. And then I also do work with accounting professionals as well, that are moving into the cloud, and try to help them with their confidence and figure out how to find, what they want to do other than just the data entry that we used to do, right? So before the cloud.
Yeah, no, that's awesome story. So wait, all right, so you had a traditional CPA practice, and then the pandemic pushed you into that kind of advisory role. Were you noticing that your clients were asking like more about these services, or did you just be proactive in your approach to working with your clients?
No, I was proactive. I actually had so in Canada, our lockdown was after yours, in the States. So what happened was, I guess our day 3 into our lockdown, I actually had a full-on panic attack. I had been seeing things coming out of, the States and Europe and everything on COVID on TV. I'm very high risk for COVID. And then it hit me with the lockdown. I thought, oh my gosh, my clients are going to go out of business, which means I have to go out of business. What are we going to do? And then I woke up the next day and I said, no, I can't live like this. I need to control things, and what can I control? And I can help control. So I started reaching out to my clients, and we put our heads together and said, okay, how can you do things differently and pivot to be able to still stay around during COVID and beyond? And 100% of our clients are still in business.
That is awesome, really,
Yeah.
because I noticed that clients that have transitioned into this model have kind of struggled with it initially. And so you now have services for accounts because of your actual experience. And I mean, what better than actual experience in helping accountants, right? And it was a necessity, and compliance is just, it's a piece of the job, not is the
Oh,
job. And so
exactly.
I like the fact that you noticed a need right away and you addressed it. But how did this all get started? How did Tanya want to become a CPA? Were you just pushed into the industry? Was it your family was all
So
involved? Somebody inspired you?
Okay, so yeah, so I'm a CPB, not a CPA. So I just want
Excuse
to make yeah, it's I just don't do corporate returns and whatnot. So there's just a difference. I work more in the details as a bookkeeper, whereas a lot of accountants work with the high level. So really that's the difference of what we do. We're all still accounting professionals at the end of the day, just work in different parts of it, right? But no, I kind of fell into it. This is my third career in my final career. And I started doing tax compliance in 1997. I actually, insurance was my previous career. And at 25, I ran an insurance office that had a Liberty tax office in there. And so if I'm running it and dealing with complaints, I said, I need to understand all of this. So I started learning tax compliance and taxes. And I started doing that part-time as a business after I left that company, started just running taxes part-time as just a little more like a hobby business rather than an actual business. And then I had my daughter in 2001 and I didn't want to go back to work. And my husband said, just go full-time with taxes. So I've been dealing with taxes on the personal side and dealing with audits since 1997. So I brought that forward into everything that I do. So when I set up my chart of accounts and do anything like that, it's all based on compliance, which kind of made it easier to transition to the other side from compliance into bookkeeping. But so I just had taxes and that worked great. Where we lived, I did not, it wasn't the right time to get into bookkeeping. The clients, the accountants there, I just thought, you know what, I just don't have a good feel for it. We moved 12 years ago to Belleville, which is 4 hours away. And I thought, wow, okay, I now need to expand because I lost some of my clients having to move 4 hours away and whatnot. And this turned into a full-time thing where now I have a staff of 5. And, you know, I've been I guess working with accounting professionals for 5 years now as well too. And so it's big. That's on Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp side of things. So yeah, we've grown.
Yeah. No, it's a really good story. I've done a dozen or so of these, and every story is different. And I like that because sometimes, yeah, it's within the family. Everyone's doing it to take on the family practice. Someone inspired. You know, you just got into this profession and really just took what's the cliche saying? Took the reins and you made it your own, and now you specialize in your helping accounts. I think that's awesome how you've
Yeah.
grown into that because it just shows that the accounting profession is not just, plugging in numbers. You could literally grow by yourself on your own, like what you did.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And the numbers part, that's boring. I mean, people used to say, you know, you must love what you do. And I'm like, you know what? I don't love what I do. I'm good at it. I'm good with the
yeah,
numbers. But let's face it, when you're on your own and you're just working with the numbers, it's very isolating.
yeah,
So, you know, it's you're working by yourself. Especially when it's, you know, just a solo practice. And so it's very isolating and it's very different. But I said, you know, I love the benefits. I get to work with who I want, when I want, you know, so the benefits, you just couldn't beat it. But now I had a very difficult time finding, you know, my step with advisory. I knew I needed to go there, but I was listening to the apps. The app says it has to be cash flow. It has to be done this way. And that just didn't gel with me until COVID forced me into just doing what felt right, which is kind of just a combination of everything. I was like, wow, this is advisory.
yeah,
It pulls everything in together. It's not the traditional form of advisory that the apps want you to do or that some people might do, but it's still advisory. And at the end of the day,
hmm
it's still there. So it's more like business consulting
hmm hmm
mixed with our advisory. But that's what I love
yeah,
because I can make a difference and it's not just working with the numbers. It's
yeah.
a picture.
So, yeah, no, it seems like you just had a gut instinct and you went with that. And a lot of people just don't have that. They're very technical, very astute, but sometimes you just have to know when to do it, when not to do it. And it's hard. It sounds easy, but it's really hard. And you
It
had that
is.
initiative.
It's that
Yeah.
sink or swim. And
Yeah.
that's been my whole life, pretty much. When I got into insurance, it was the same thing. They threw me
Yeah.
into a busy office with minimal training. You know,
Ooh.
everything that I've done has been that. And it's all been sink or swim my whole life. So I work better under pressure, you know, knowing that, hey, failure's not an option. That's all there is to it. So
Yeah. And you put together a plan because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So, and failure is not an option. So you came up with a plan. Now your business is growing. So share
yeah.
with us an expert tip for the accounting community on how to make this move into advisory. Like, where do you even start?
you know what? It all starts with your clients. And this is where we've always done things differently, because my background is customer service. So it wasn't insurance sales, it was customer service. And I've done that my whole life. And you need to have that relationship with those clients. You need to get to know them. You need to get to know why they love their business and, their strengths and their weaknesses to be able to help them through all of that. And that's really, I think, where you need to start. Just start at the basics. It's not technical.
Right.
It's just, it's caring and reaching out and being interested and asking those questions, because then that will make it easier to move along and to start. And I mean, through COVID, because I had a team, there were some clients that I hadn't even spoken to at that point that my team handled. There was no need for me to step in because I just dealt with the high level stuff, and that hadn't come up. So that was more difficult for me. But what I did is when I reached out, I asked, how are they? And then they would start talking about their business. I said, no. First, I want to know how you are coping through this, to show that I care. And that was very odd for them. They were like, what?
They're like, what? You care about me? What's wrong with you?
Exactly. Then we lead into talking about the business. But because they talked to me personally about them, again, I was able to learn more about them to be able to understand how I can help them.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Really,
so I
really
think that's
good
the
advice.
core. Get to know your clients.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the simplest thing. People like to complicate the heck out of simple things. So
exactly.
It's just like, wait,
keep it simple. Keep it straight and simple.
Keep it simple. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're not being an awesome advisor for your clients, what's Tanya like doing for fun?
Oh, gosh, I haven't had fun I do have fun, but it's been a long time.
Did you have a daughter?
Sorry?
You have a daughter, right?
I do have a daughter. So I guess the things, because I've thrown myself into the business, and as of January, I'm no longer working weekends, but the last several years, what my daughter and I we like to do unique experiences. So she is 20 right now. And some of the unique experiences we've done. So anybody that's creeps me on Facebook, knows that I love the TV show Supernatural. And it's off the air now. A lot of people haven't heard of it. It was on for 15 years though, people, 15 years. So it's off now. But what my daughter and I did for, it was 6 years running, I think, until COVID hit, is every Canadian Thanksgiving, we would actually go down to Toronto and we would spend the weekend with the cast of the show. So it was very expensive weekend. So that's what my tax season went for when I had it. It was, it's a $5,000 weekend, but you're having really unique, close encounter experiences with the cast and the crew. I mean, there's panels and there's the meet and greets, and there's, the most unique thing that we did with two of the female casts is we actually went to, there was 40 in total, and it was a 3-hour pizza slumber party type thing. So you really get to know them, if they let their guards down, of course, and most of them do on that. In that show, that was about it. So yeah, we like doing those unique experiences. So
yeah, that's so cool. Very cool. Tanya, thank you so much for sharing your experience. You make the profession cool. I mean, you got into it, you found a little niche, and you're making it work and enjoying life, and that's what it's all about. So I really appreciate you taking time out to talk with us today.
Oh no, yes, thank you. And I think I just want to add in there too. I've done it untraditional, excuse me, because a lot of people go into this and of course go through school first. I was kind of backwards.
Yeah.
I have my designations now. I have several designations. I've worked with Jeannie Whitehouse out of the States and have a level 5 certified advisor and an AIA accredited impactful advisor designation as well that I've earned under her program, Mentor Plus program. But it's hard work. And I worked with people. I did mentor under people and work with people while I was learning myself. But I kind of did it backwards like that. And I just want to say that, it doesn't matter how you do it.
Exactly.
You can achieve it, whether you got your education sitting in a classroom with other people, or whether you got it working hands-on, mentoring other people, you can still do it. It's just, do you have the drive to do it? And, I'm living proof of that. I used to feel that I had more to prove because I did not have the classroom education. And, I've been 4 years running top 100 ProAdvisor through Insightful Accountant, the 2018 Intuit Global Firm of the Future, all of these accolades here. So I just want to say to anybody who's, maybe done it the opposite way like I did, you can do it. It's your confidence, your drive.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree anymore. Just because it's always been done a certain way does not mean that it can't be done any other way. And yeah, I absolutely agree.
Exactly. Just make sure you're
And
doing it right. Just make
yeah,
sure you're doing it right, which is why I did mentor under other bookkeepers and accountants and had them double check my work before,
of course.
it was done to make sure that I did not mess up.
Yeah. You have to be humble, and you have to be open to constructive criticism. Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
coaching and development. Every single day I'm learning, right? If you're not learning, you're
Absolutely.
not living. So,
I'm always working with the coach. When I
yeah.
still work with Jeannie, because Jeannie isn't, anybody who knows Jeannie knows she's an amazing person. I've worked with Ron Baker. I've worked with Rundle and Corlick. I'm now working under Richard Roper Roberts. So, I've worked with, Ron Baker, he was my first coach, and he was absolutely amazing. And he's a legend in the industry. And so, yeah, you always need to be working with a coach to better yourself for sure.
Yep, there's resources out there. You're taking full advantage and making the most out of this, and that's what it's all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Heck of a story. Tanya, thanks again for coming in and speaking to our audience, sharing this. And good luck in the future for our audience. We'll be back soon. Take care for now. Be safe.
Thanks, Chris. Take care.
And we're done. All right. That was really cool. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Tanya.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Hopefully it'll help inspire people.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
know we've
this
got
is
a
a good
lot of
story.
people right now that are coming into it, especially on the bookkeeping side of things. The accountants, you kind of have to do, you have to do your classroom education. On the bookkeeper side, it's not regulated the same. And a lot of
Bookkeeping
people,
need, big need,
oh,
all throughout the
huge need.
globe. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of people have walked away, especially through COVID. I know a lot of people that have sold their practices and just said, you know what, this is just too much, too
Yeah.
much.
So it's a big market.
So
Yeah.
it is, but it's also important, you know, people people wake up and say, okay, I can balance my checkbook, I can be a bookkeeper because it's not regulated. And I don't agree with that. And that's why I wanted to say you can do it. You just need to do it proper. You need to work with somebody. You need to make sure that you
Yeah.
understand, because we don't need a bunch of that, just it gives bookkeepers a bad name.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You yeah, I totally get what you're saying. You don't have to go to school and then decide. You could kind of play around in it and then realize, okay, this is where I need help. This is what I need to obtain these certifications, licenses. But
Yeah.
it's another important thing that you outlined was it's okay to ask for help. Some people are very steadfast or closed-minded and just looking, tunnel vision, whatever you want to call it, not open to help. And you're
Well,
not going to do anything, even if you're the most smartest person in the room. If you're trying to like build a business, but you're not open-minded and not accepting resources and help, then you're not going to build that business. That's what I
and it's
see.
funny, yeah, because people think that just because I coach people now, that they're surprised to hear that I still work with somebody. And it's
You
like,
can do both.
no, I like with Jeannie, I honed my advisory skills with her and
Yeah.
tools. And, with Ron, it was on the confidence and the value pricing. And Rondell and Baker was more, on kind of a sales strategy
Yep.
and mixed with the value pricing. And, Richard Roper Roberts, it's now about, I guess my influencer side or whatever in the States, because I'm very well known in Canada, but I want to start working with apps and want to start doing different things. So I need to
Yeah.
have basically image and branding,
Yeah.
so you need to be constantly and I think if you're not working with somebody on something, then you're lacking.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, everything you said. So, yeah, no, this is exactly what we were looking for.
Awesome.
Totally in line with my thoughts too. So, yeah, this is great. When the final product's done, I'll send it over to you. And again, thank you so much. All right.
Oh, no, and thank you. I look forward
Take
to
care.
seeing it. Okay, thanks, Chris. Take care. Bye.